Thanks very much indeed. Last Cairn Minister, I wish to welcome you to the House today to debate the issue around St John's Hospital Limerick and the 120 replacement beds that are needed there. And I know back in 2017, Minister Harris himself visited St John's and acknowledged the fact that he could see the need for the 120 beds to be replaced. And I suppose my question is around the capital plan and whether St John's Hospital will be included in the capital plan. Limerick, I suppose, University Hospital is in the news all the time in terms of beds, bed capacity, and while there are 60 modular beds started there, it'll be a while before they'll be opened, but I suppose we need to start planning for the future, and the fact of the matter is that numbers are up in attendance at both University Hospital Limerick and St John's Hospital. And while St John's Hospital at the moment is mainly dealing with minor injuries, and it's a minor injury clinic, they also do some day procedures, and if they could have the 120 replacement beds as permanent beds, they would be able to carry out more procedures and to deal with more small minor injuries. And this would certainly help in terms of alleviating the pressure in University Hospital Limerick. And I suppose my question today is that the beds need to go ahead at the same time as University Hospital Limerick, because we need to alleviate the pressure. People are coming from all over the Midwest. Nina Hospital is now carrying out cataract operations, and it's minor injuries. But we need St John's and the University Hospital Limerick, I suppose, delivering at full capacity to meet the needs of the Midwest. So thank you.
Minister.
Carly, first of all, I want to thank Senator Maria Byrne for raising this very important issue, and I want to commend you for your work as well in relation to driving this project, St John's Hospital, because I know you have a particular interest in it, and you're very committed to the people of Limerick. It also gives me the opportunity to outline to the House the position in relation to the proposed capital development plan of a 120-bed ward to replace existing ward accommodation at St John's Hospital in Limerick. St John's Hospital is a Model 2S voluntary hospital within the University of Limerick Hospitals Group, covering Limerick, Clare and North Tipperary. The hospital currently has 88 inpatient medical beds and 10 beds for surgery, and also provides a medical assessment unit, a minor injuries unit and a 5-day surgery to the people of the region. I understand the current proposal is for a 120-bed replacement ward block, consisting of 4 units of 30 single rooms for inpatient ward accommodation. Progress in respect of these and all other capital projects are subject to the availability of capital funding. All healthcare infrastructure developments, including this development, must comply with the Department of Public Expenditure guidelines and EU directives, and will require a lead-in time to complete the various stages of public capital projects. These stages include appraisal, project brief, design feasibility, detailed design, some of which may overlap, the review of costing estimates and the finalisation of financing. The National Development Plan announced last year as part of the Project Ireland 2040 policy initiative provides €10.9 billion for health capital projects across the country, including both national programmes and individual projects across acute, primary and social care. The delivery of the NDP projects and programmes, including the development in Limerick, will result in healthcare facilities that allow the implementation of new models of care and for the delivery of services in high-quality, modern facilities. The revised health capital allocation in 2019 is €642 million for the construction and equipping of health facilities. The Department of the Health Service Executive are currently engaged in a process to finalise the HSE capital plan for 2019. In developing its capital plan for 2019 and future years, the HSE must consider a range of issues, including the expenditure that is contractually committed, the HSE's annual requirement in relation to meeting risks associated with clinical equipment, ambulances and healthcare infrastructure. The HSE capital plan will propose the projects that can be progressed in 2019, and beyond having regard to the available capital funding, the number of large national projects currently underway, the cash flow requirements attaching to each project and the relevant priority. Projects that are currently in construction and are contractually committed will not be affected. Once the HSE finalises the capital plan for 2019, it will then be submitted to the Minister for consideration. But of course, I will bring your considerations and your concerns back to Minister Simon Harris.
Thank you, Minister. Supplementary, Senator.
Great. Thanks very much indeed, Minister. And I understand what you're saying, and that everything has to meet the requirements under procurement. And my understanding is that St John's are at a very advanced stage, that everything that needs to be submitted has been submitted. They have all the required documents submitted to date that they've been asked in relation to it. But I suppose where I'm coming from is University Hospital Limerick is constantly in the news. We need the two hospitals to develop together because it's the only way. We're not just serving, it's not just serving the people of Limerick, it's serving the people of the Midwest. And there is huge capacity. And I saw a tweet actually from a senior person in the hospital to do with figures, and they were talking about some of the hospitals, the other larger hospitals around Ireland, and they were saying that, you know, some of them have less staff and whatever. But the whole thing is that there is actually 21% more people coming to the University Hospital Limerick than there is to some of the bigger hospitals around Dublin and the surrounding area. So it's a fairly high number, and if we can get the small injuries clinic up and running properly, we can have more day procedures. It certainly will take the pressure off University Hospital Limerick, and I think that's the key point here. Thank you, Minister.
Thank you,
absolutely, I totally accept your point there about first of all, St John's is at a very advanced stage, and I do take your point because I know Limerick very well. I spend a lot of time down there. I have a sister who lives in Limerick, so I'm quite aware that the fact that you need two hospitals, and that would take the pressure off as well. And also the fact that it does service the Midwest area generally, which is an important point as well. And also that figure there, the 21% coming to UHL, the increase of 21%, that is a figure that has to be conserved. But can I just give a commitment? The Government is committed to delivering the acute hospital services and infrastructure. St John's Hospital is an integral part of University Hospital, University of Limerick Hospital Group, providing hospital services and care to the population of Limerick, Clare, North Tipperary. The hospital does provide quality patient care, and as I outlined in my reply, proposals for the new 120-bed ward to replace the existing ward accommodation at St John's Hospital are at a very early planning and appraisal, and all capital dependents are depending on the resources. But of course, the very relevant points you raised today, I will bring those points back to Minister Simon Harris, and the HSE capital plan will determine the projects that can progress in 2019 and beyond, having regard to the issue of funding issue as well. So you can take them, your concerns will be brought back to Minister Simon Harris. Thank you.
Thank you, Minister, and thank you, Senator.